Welcome to this explainer. We share our world today with some undeniably dangerous animals, but honestly, they are absolutely nothing compared to the terrifying giants that used to roam our ancient Earth. Millions of years ago, extreme ecological pressures and wildly different environments shaped these massive, monstrous creatures that are almost impossible to fathom today. We're going to embark on an incredible journey through prehistoric habitats to uncover 7 of the most dangerous, colossal animals in history. Creatures that, thankfully for us, mysteriously vanished from the planet.
Okay, let's dive into this. We'll be exploring these magnificent beasts by their domains to truly understand the scale of our ancient Earth. First up, deep water hunters. Second, swamp and forest demons. Third, kings of land and sky. And finally, we'll look at the mysterious
Art 1. Deep water hunters, rulers of the prehistoric oceans. Let's start our journey out in the ancient oceans. Long before humans were even a blip on the radar, the deep waters were ruled by massive, unparalleled predators that would make today's marine life look like absolute minnows. Our first giant is the legendary megalodon. Thriving between 23 and 2.6 million years ago, this apex predator reached an astonishing 52 to 60 feet in length. It was roughly 50 times larger than modern sharks, and this wasn't some slow-moving scavenger, It was a highly active, incredibly powerful hunter that literally preyed on massive sea turtles and even ancient great white sharks, just striking with unimaginable force in the open water.
And this brilliantly illustrates the terrifying reality of its bite. Fossil records showed that a single megalodon tooth was the exact size of a modern banana. Imagine the massive jaws required to hold rows upon rows of those. It could crush bone and shell with absolute ease. Yet, despite its incredible power and total dominance of the oceans, the megalodon just disappeared from the world about 2.6 million years ago. It's an extinction event that remains a complete mystery to scientists today.
While the megalodon was a giant shark, our next deep-water hunter was actually a massive marine reptile, the mosasaurus. Reaching lengths of 52 to 60 feet, so roughly the same size as the megalodon, the mosasaurus wielded a massive 6-foot-long skull, and packed inside that terrifying skull, 250 deadly teeth. It was a sleek, devastatingly fast predator, perfectly evolved for marine domination. And get this, believe it or not, this prehistoric monster is actually a distant relative of today's Komodo dragon. Crazy, right?
Now, you might be picturing an epic, cinematic underwater battle between the megalodon and the mosasaurus, given their colossal sizes and shared dominance of the seas. But actually, they never crossed paths. They ruled entirely different prehistoric eras. The mosasaurus met its violent end 66 million years ago, wiped out by the exact same devastating asteroid strike that ended the reign of the dinosaurs, so long before the megalodon ever swam the Earth.
Moving right along to part 2, swamp and forest demons, giants of the prehistoric wetlands. So if the oceans were perilous, the land was honestly no safer. But it presents a really fascinating question. Most fossils of our next creature, the Sarcosuchus, which is the largest crocodile breed in history, were found right in the middle of the dry Sahara Desert. How on earth did a massive semi-aquatic crocodile survive in one of the driest places on the planet? Well, the incredible reveal here is that 112 million years ago, the Sahara Desert wasn't a desert at all. It was actually a vibrant, sprawling jungle, very similar to the modern Amazon.
And in that ancient Amazon-like jungle, the Sarcosuchus was the absolute king of the waters. To put its colossal scale into perspective, at 40 feet long, it was literally the exact size of a modern school bus, and it weighed up to 8 to 10 tons. That is equivalent to 2 full-grown elephants. Armed with incredibly powerful jaws and thick, heavily armored scales, this giant easily snatched massive fish, giant turtles, and even wandering dinosaurs that foolishly strayed just a little too close to the riverbank.
Sharing a similar love for ancient rivers and rainforests was the Titanoboa, officially the largest snake in Earth's history. Thriving 58 to 60 million years ago, this absolute monster was so massive that it had to spend most of its time in the water just to support its own immense weight. It was a classic ambush predator. It hunted by holding its breath underwater, lurking silently, and then striking out to instantly suffocate its prey, wrapping itself around large fish, crocodiles, and small mammals.
To really grasp this prehistoric scale, just consider today's largest snake, the Green Anaconda, which maxes out at around 30 feet in length. The Titanoboa absolutely dwarfed it, reaching staggering lengths of 40 to 50 feet and measuring a full 3 feet wide. I mean, that is a thick, terrifying wall of muscle, capable of crushing almost anything in its path. You definitely, for sure, wouldn't want to encounter that on a weekend river cruise.
Rounding out our swamp demons is the famous Spinosaurus, which lived 99 to 93 million years ago. Found in areas of modern North Africa like Morocco and Egypt, this was one of the largest carnivorous dinosaurs ever discovered. At 52 to 59 feet long, it was a semi-aquatic piscivore, meaning it primarily hunted fish and couldn't survive purely on land or in deep water. But you know, the most awe-inspiring part? It had this bizarre, massive sail-like spine structure arranged on its back, and scientists today still do not fully know its true purpose. Was it for temperature regulation? Display? It remains a fantastic, completely unsolved scientific mystery.
Part 3. Kings of Land and Sky, Rulers of the Open Terrain.
Stepping out of the dense, murky swamps and into the open plains, we meet the Smilodon, probably better known to you as the legendary saber-toothed tiger. Out here, survival was all about mobility, speed, and lethal precision. Now, while it was roughly the size of a modern lion, fossil structures suggest its voice and roar were significantly louder. But its true claim to fame? Those massive, 7-inch-long upper canine teeth. It was a brave, incredibly violent hunter that fearlessly took down huge, formidable prey, including ancient bison, wild horses, camels, and yes, even young mammoths.
Looking up, the skies were completely dominated by the Quetzalcoatlus. This is the largest flying animal in the history of our planet. Just to be totally clear here, it was a pterosaur, a flying reptile, not a dinosaur. It boasted an unbelievable wingspan of 33 to 40 feet. There has literally never been another creature in history that matches its sheer size and dominance in the air. While it could easily hunt smaller dinosaurs, its primary diet likely consisted of scavenging dead animals across vast distances, operating very much like a prehistoric giant version of the modern marabou stork.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the terrifying proportions of its head. The Quetzalcoatlus possessed a beak measuring over 8.2 feet long. If humans had been around back then, this creature could have effortlessly consumed a person in a single bite. Let that sheer scale sink in for a second. A flying creature soaring above with a jaw the size of a small car. No way.
Finally, Part 4, The Mysterious End, How the Giants Fell. Despite being massive, seemingly invincible apex predators, none of these incredible giants are here today. Looking at the timeline, 66 million years ago, a catastrophic asteroid impact radically altered the global climate in an instant, plunging the Earth into darkness and simultaneously wiping out the ocean-dwelling Mosasaurus and the sky-ruling Quetzalcoatlus. Millions of years later, around 2.6 million years ago, the Megalodon simply vanished from the fossil record. And just 10,000 years ago, the end of the last ice age triggered another massive, devastating ecological shift. Breaking it down by cause, we see exactly how fragile even the mightiest creatures are to changing ecosystems. The Smilodon survived bravely into much later eras, but as the Ice Age ended 10,000 years ago, the giant prey it desperately relied on died out, leading to widespread starvation and its eventual extinction. We know an asteroid doomed the Mosasaurus and Quetzalcoatlus in a flash of planetary devastation. But the Megalodon? Well, the fossil record just goes cold. Its sudden, total demise remains one of nature's greatest, completely unsolved mysteries. So what does this all mean for us? The crucial takeaway is that Earth is a dynamic, ever-changing laboratory. These massive creatures were perfectly adapted to their extreme prehistoric environments, but when the climate changed, they fell. It leaves us with a fascinating, honestly almost haunting thought to end on. If ecological pressures shift drastically again in the deep future, could nature ever create monsters like this once more? Thank you for exploring the incredible ecological history of these giants in this explainer. Keep wondering, keep learning, and we'll catch you next time.